Imagine this moment with me. You're standing in front of a mirror, looking into your own eyes. But this time, you're not seeing the surface. You're seeing the true reflection of what's inside. Your emotions, your fears, your joy, all the things that make you, you. Now here's the big question. What if I told you that everything you've been feeling, every intense emotion you've ever had, is not the absolute truth? What if I told you that your emotions are simply reactions to life, not the final, unwavering reality of who you are? Are you ready to challenge what you believe? Stay with me as we dive deeper into this idea that emotions are just reactions, not the truth. Because, my friends, once you understand this, you'll begin to unlock the most powerful part of yourself. Emotions are powerful. We feel them every day. We react to them. But here's the thing. Emotions are not permanent. They come and go. They are fleeting, like waves in the ocean. Sometimes they crash. Sometimes they are gentle. But just like the ocean, they are always changing. This is a truth we often forget. We think that the emotion we are feeling in the moment is the absolute truth about us, about the situation we're in. We often say to ourselves, I'm feeling angry, so I must be an angry person. I feel sad, so life is miserable. But in reality, emotions are just responses to the world around us, not who we are at our core. When you start seeing emotions for what they truly are, reactions to stimuli, momentary ripples in your consciousness, you'll begin to step into your true power. You'll stop letting your feelings dictate who you are and how you show up in the world. You are not your emotions. And today, we're going to explore why this is so empowering. Emotions are powerful forces. They have the ability to shape our day, our decisions, and sometimes even the way we see ourselves. But here's the reality. Emotions are temporary. They are fleeting, like waves crashing on the shore. One moment you feel joy and elation. The next, sadness or anger might wash over you. Yet we often mistake these fleeting emotions as permanent states. We let them define us. We say things like, I'm an anxious person, or I'm just always upset. We make the mistake of identifying ourselves by the way we feel in a given moment, not realizing that those feelings are simply reactions to external stimuli. They are not truths about who we are. Here's the truth. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness that observes them. Emotions are just like the weather, sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, but they are not constant, and they certainly don't define your identity. Let's dive into the science for a moment. Emotions are biological reactions triggered by our brain. When something happens in our environment, be it positive or negative, our brain releases chemicals, such as adrenaline or cortisol, that create the physical sensations we associate with emotions. These chemicals produce feelings that we often act upon without even thinking about it. Take, for instance, the feeling of fear. When faced with a potentially dangerous situation, your body releases stress hormones, preparing you to fight or flee. But when the situation passes, those feelings fade away. The emotion was just a response to the stimulus, not an inherent truth about your character or the world. But here's the thing. Emotions, though they feel real, are not permanent markers of who we are. They are not fixed truths about the world. They are, as we've discussed, reactions. This understanding is powerful because it allows you to separate yourself from your emotions. Imagine the freedom you would have if you no longer felt obligated to act on every emotional impulse. You could pause, reflect, and respond from a place of awareness, not reactive emotion. Now, let's look at emotions in a different light. Emotions are not just reactions, they are also feedback. They provide insight into how we perceive the world and how we interpret events. But feedback doesn't mean that you should immediately act on every emotional reaction. Instead, it invites you to reflect and understand. When you feel anger, for example, it's not necessarily telling you that you are an angry person. What it's actually telling you is that something is wrong. Maybe a boundary was crossed, or maybe your values were challenged. Anger is not a permanent trait, but rather a response to something in your environment that needs attention. It's feedback, telling you that something needs to be addressed, whether through action or deeper reflection. The same goes for sadness, joy, and even fear. Sadness might indicate that something is missing or unfulfilled in your life. Fear may be signaling a need for caution, preparation, or a step into the unknown. Joy could be an indicator that you're in alignment with your true self, that you're on the right path. When you start to see emotions as feedback, rather than the ultimate truth, you'll no longer react automatically. You'll start to see them for what they are, passing experiences that offer information about the moment, but not necessarily about your essence. So, how do we break free from being controlled by our emotions? How can we regain control and see our feelings as fleeting reactions rather than permanent truths? It all begins with awareness. The more aware you become of your emotions, the more you can observe them without letting them dictate your behavior. Awareness allows you to separate yourself from your emotions, to recognize them for what they are. Simply reactions that arise in response to external factors. Imagine you feel a surge of anger in the middle of a heated conversation. Instead of reacting impulsively, awareness allows you to pause. You observe the anger as it rises, recognizing that it is a reaction, not the truth. You can choose to respond with calmness and understanding, rather than lashing out. The power of awareness lies in the space it creates between stimulus and response. This space gives you the ability to reflect before acting. It allows you to observe the emotion, question its validity, and make a conscious choice about how to respond. In this space, you realize that you have the power to choose your emotional state, rather than letting your emotions choose you. This is where true emotional mastery begins. When you begin to understand that you are not your emotions, you experience a profound sense of freedom. Detachment from emotions is not about suppressing them, but about seeing them without identification. You observe them, learn from them, and then release them, knowing that they do not define your reality. This detachment is liberating. Instead of being ruled by anger, sadness, or fear, you begin to live with a sense of inner peace and calm. You become the observer of your emotions, not their victim. This is the true freedom that comes with emotional awareness. Once you begin to recognize that emotions are simply reactions and not your truth, you begin to step into your power. You realize that you are not a prisoner to your emotions, but rather the conscious observer of them. You gain the ability to create space between your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding consciously. This shift in perspective can change everything. It opens the door to greater emotional freedom, peace of mind, and self-mastery. And when you understand that emotions are not who you are, you stop identifying with them. Instead, you choose to live a life guided by awareness, clarity, and the inner strength to respond to life's challenges with grace. As we wrap up this journey together, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect on what we've discussed. You now know that emotions are not the truth about who you are. They are simply fleeting reactions that come and go, and you have the power to choose how you respond to them. So, here's your challenge. The next time you feel a strong emotion, pause. Observe it. Acknowledge it. But don't let it define you. Instead, step into your power, take a deep breath, and choose to respond from a place of awareness. This is the key to emotional freedom. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, so that we can continue spreading this empowering message. Comment below and share one emotion you've struggled with in the past, and how you now plan to approach it from a place of awareness. I'd love to hear your thoughts and engage in a meaningful conversation about how you're shifting your mindset. And of course, subscribe to Awaken Your Essence if you're ready to continue this journey of self-discovery and personal transformation. Every week, we explore deep topics that will help you awaken the most powerful version of yourself. You don't want to miss the next video. Remember, you are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind them. And when you begin to see your emotions as temporary, fleeting reactions, you'll open the door to a life of peace, clarity, and true emotional mastery. Thank you for being here today. Let's continue this journey of awakening together. Stay present, stay aware, and stay awakened.